David, just referring back to this idea of a movement, this idea of action. Because the change that we want to see in the world, especially now as we're entering a new year, and we think, oh, do we want another year to be the same as before? Change is beckoning. Every quarter, everything is calling for change. It can be very overwhelming. You know, where do we start? What do I do? So something that I've been hearing from you, you mentioned about conversations, you know, the conversations that we have at the water cooler, you know, the conversations that we have in the elevator. And something I've taken away from that is when I have my women's gatherings now, I use them as opportunities to ask big questions, to get answers back, and then take the conversation beyond about what the needs of the women are to, you know, if we had the ear of David Cameron, our Prime Minister, what would we say? So it elevates the conversation. I'm really asking big questions. So what it seems to me is that you're making it accessible by saying it's just a conversation. So speak to that about the small approaches that we can make to the big problem.
Generally with change we tend to use the word we. We need to do this. All of us need to do that. And the science, the neuroscience research is showing that that we need to change to I. What do I need to do to change? And it's interesting because when you change what it is you do, you disrupt your own thought patterns, which causes the change. And people notice the change and they'll go, you're different from last year. You're different from last month because you've broken a pattern. So I said earlier on that we need to break the rules and change the game. And I think part of the journey for us in 2014 is, my question is, how many of us would like to end up at the same space that we ended up at the end of 2013? I don't want to end up in the same space. And I hope none of us would. Because to change that, I need to change what I do every day. So I'll give you an example. When I get up in the morning, because of my patterns and efficiency, I button up my shirt the same old way when I get dressed. Or I do my routine in the shower the same old way. But can I challenge you in 2014, do it so differently that even you're surprised by it. Why? Because you're creating what's called new neural pathways in your brain. And when you do that, I think we bring about a change. So 2014 should be so vastly different to 2013. But that change begins with me. The familiar also holds you down to the status quo.
Those familiar things are safe and comfortable, though.
Right.
Cozy, comfortable.
And we need to let go.
But that's the thing about the beginning of the year. And I think those of us who are really engaged as change makers, who want to make change in the world, we see not just a new year, but a new epoch, a new era. I think I speak for many in saying there's a hunger for change. And then I've heard Gandhi's quote thousands of times about be the change. But I'm kind of hearing it differently when you say, change the way you button your shirt up or whatever. Gandhi speaking in my head, I don't think about those small things. But it is those small things that you're saying, just change our patterns, change our behaviours, change everything, so that we think about things differently.
But he was also addressing each individual. Be the change you want to see. He didn't say, be the change and we all need to do it.
Yeah.
So it's me, it's I. And unless we start to do that, we're not going to see the we. Because when we say the we, I always think, oh well, Gina can do that. Multitask. Serially or otherwise.
So in the moment, it's that every day we can have a different conversation.
Yeah.